Welcome everybody to another Wednesday wrap-up, your weekly entertainment wrap-up brought to you by Borderline Entertainment right here on twitch.tv/Borderline Entertainment. If you find that you're watching it on YouTube, that means that you're catching it a few days later, and it means that you're missing out on the whole point of the show, which is that it's live, and you get to be a part of the conversation as we talk about all the nerdy news that you need to know. Now, tonight I am joined by Mr. Will Evans. Welcome, Will.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Exciting episode. We've got a lot to cover, but it's all excellent stuff. So I'm ready to dive right in. I don't know about you, Asen.
Oh, I'm ready to go. This episode is brought to you by our patrons. And don't forget, you can be one too. Head over to patreon.com/Borderline Entertainment and consider being a patron today. $1 is our minimum tier level, and you actually get goodies for each tier level that you hit.
Let me preface this episode by saying that we're covering our favorite bits of news from Star Wars Celebration 2019. Asen and I are a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Luke's on the wall.
I am so excited to be talking about all these items. Now, typically how we break this down, for those that aren't aware, well, we have our apple, we have our onion, we have our banana, we have our muffin. So let's put it this way. We have favorite news, and then we'll just call it second favorite news, because there's no such thing as bad Star Wars news. So the topics that we're talking about, all right, we're really pumped about. These were the 4 bits that I think we took away the most from. And I think these are probably one of the bigger things that had been brought up throughout the celebration. So let's kick it off.
Starting with our Apple of the Week, the best news story and entertainment news. Will, who does that go to?
Teaser trailer, episode 9. What? It was amazing.
Drop. Everything that we've been wanting.
Yes. I think there was such a divide in the Star Wars community after their decision to hire Rian Johnson and what he had done with The Last Jedi. Now, I think what's going on here is that maybe the overall Lucasfilm are wanting to get back on track. And I think that's where they mended their relationship, specifically Kathleen Kennedy with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
Mending that relationship, getting back on track for the vision that JJ had from the beginning. And boy, did we get some great stuff in this teaser trailer.
From beginning to end, there wasn't one part that I didn't like. It's kind of like if you took, and this is just my personal opinion, if you took all of the great scenes in The Last Jedi, that would equate one trailer, which is for The Rise of Skywalker, which is the subtitle of episode 9. And I just have to say, like, obviously, the ending of that trailer, seeing a chunk of the Death Star, and then we hear it, the Emperor's laugh. And it's like, holy crap, the Emperor is back. Now, we don't know, like, in what capacity.
For those that don't know, he actually played the Emperor not only in the prequels, and I think that's a common misconception, he actually has been the Emperor since the beginning.
Yeah.
Minus Empire Strikes Back, they had a different actor when it first originally aired. They went back with edits that they had then taken from Revenge of the Sith, for those that have the revised versions or seen the revised versions. Anyways, though, yes, so the Emperor, I think this was the big thing. I love seeing Lando, first and foremost. I think it's fantastic. It really just tugs at the heartstrings, seeing another classic character being brought back into this. And he's not a cameo, he's a main character.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams went on to say that the film itself is going to be an action-adventure movie, meaning this whole group is on an adventure together. I think one thing that we really missed from the Force Awakens movie into The Last Jedi is people were on their own separate paths.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be great to have everyone together, one common goal. We're not having Finn and Rose doing their own whatever that was in Canto Bight. Seeing all that's great. I'm excited to see if, Lando's daughter is maybe making an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, we saw some great shots. Having Luke just be a voice of reason and guiding Rey and continually being just a huge factor. There's not enough I can say about it. If you haven't seen the trailer, sorry for spoilers if you're watching this. We probably should have started with that. But
I know. Where have you been?
Yeah. If you've been following us, you know that the news is broken. You've probably seen the trailer already on all our social media outlets. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. More speculation to come. I'm excited for all the conversations that are going to be had between now and when we actually see the film come up on December 20th. So anyways, so yes, Apple of the Week, biggest bit of news was episode 9.
As we know, not all news is good news. And that does bring us to our onion of the week.
Yes.
The worst news story and entertainment, or let's just say in Star Wars news this past week.
Yeah. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Accept the past. Execute Order 66.
So it's really hard for me to say I hate anything Star Wars related. I don't think I've ever said that in my life. I think I have disagreements with some of the directions that have taken, or maybe I've built up ideas of how I feel like things should have gone. But I think the reason that we've been waiting for a good story-driven Star Wars game for some time, and I feel that we were excited for it, and then after watching the trailer maybe a second time, we're like, is this really what we want?
I had huge hopes for this. All of their marketing of hyping up this game, even like the still image of that like broken, tattered lightsaber just had me amped. And when they said that it was going to be, a single player, story-driven Star Wars game, I had this vision in my mind of, I don't know, there's the Jedi Outcast series. So I was looking for vibes of that with a mixture of maybe the Shadow of Mordor series. And what I didn't want was this floaty, soft looking, so similar to The Force Unleashed. Now, I love The Force Unleashed. The second one was okay. I didn't mind it. I didn't play it as much. I played that game. I enjoyed that game for what it was. I don't want a carbon copy. I know that it's just a teaser. Everything was just cinematics. There wasn't any gameplay. The story beats were hit or miss for a lot of folks. But I went from hyped to cautiously optimistic to just cautious.
Yeah, again, we have our gripes with it, but at the same time, it's something that I think maybe, who knows, could surprise us and turn out to be a fantastic game,
Yep.
But yeah, so again, Onion of the Week, Jedi, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, just more to see. That's where we're at. I think now we've talked about kind of what the low for us was. Let's bring it back. The banana of the week is going to Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Glad to have you back, Commander.
It's weird to say that, but the reason that we're giving it the banana of the week is just that this has been something that's been longly anticipated for fans of the Clone Wars series.
Yes.
They never got the finale that they wanted. They never got the final season that they've been looking for. Instead, Rebels had come out. There have been nods back to the Clone Wars series. And the news dropped that they were coming out with the 7th and final season. And it almost just felt like an afterthought, which is really weird.
Really, you've hit everything. It was something that everybody was looking for, fans were clamoring for, and then they just kind of, hey, here it is, there you go, and we moved on.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like we got the pause and the grandeur that everything else got.
Now, I'm also someone, and I will admit, I did not finish the Clone Wars. I started off, and I just didn't get, I don't know. It's one of those shows that it's just like, it's a kid's show as you start watching it when you're older. Yeah. And then it starts to mature and get a little darker. It was kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender in the way that the story moved on. Yeah. Right. Things just naturally got a little bit darker, a little bit grittier. So banana of the week, Clone Wars. Sorry.
Thank you, Clone Wars. All right, get out of the way.
They got the shepherd's hook that just pulled them off stage. So that leads us to our muffin, favorite bit of news that we.
Mandalorian.
Dude.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Mandalorian is tackling something that I think Star Wars needs, and in the way that it needs it. Oh man.
Everything about this show, and the way that I described it to Will, is this looks like Star Wars plus Firefly. So that gritty space western, and to see that concept in the Star Wars universe, and they're doing it right. Like it doesn't look cheesy, doesn't look forced, doesn't look bad.
And that's what I love too is, one, it's Jon Favreau and his team, I think, are going about it the right way.
Yes.
Their major influences that they said were Westerns and samurai culture. That is perfect for what I envision for also a Mandalorian as well.
Yeah.
You know, they live by this code, but they're gritty, and it's just, that's what we're getting from the show, is that it's gritty. And here's the other thing too, is that in a part of the Star Wars world that I don't think is dived into as much as it should, that scummy underworld, dark, it's gritty, and I feel like every time I'm on this show, I mention how much I love dark and gritty aspects to games, movies. I just think there's a sense of realism. It's kind of actually, that's why I love Rogue One so much. But yeah, so again, I think it's a great direction they're moving in. It's giving everyone who's kind of wanted to see this other side of Star Wars, bringing it to the silver screen. But yes, Mandalorian, favorite bit of news. We're freaking pumped.
So before we do the recap of our winners tonight, let's hop over to the honorable mentions, all of those non-Star Wars news breaks. That brings us to our recap.
Yeah.
Our winners this week, Apple of the Week goes to Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. Our Onion of the Week goes to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Our Banana of the Week goes to Star Wars Clone Wars. What? And then our Muffin of the Week, The Mandalorian. But with that, let's get into our weekend wrap-up. Will, what are you doing this weekend, and then where can the good people find you?
Yeah, you know, it's just going to be kind of a casual weekend. Going to be hanging out, laying low, just crushing away in the division.
Crush away.
That's really about it, though. So you can find me on Instagram at WEV4NS24 and on Twitter at WEV4NS44. So 24 Instagram, 44 for Twitter. Hey, so.
Yes.
Now dig in.
Okay, my weekend plans. So, those of you who watch the show or pay attention, super sick last week. You know, still, you can tell us on this one, some of it's still hanging on. Got the wife sick, so this weekend is going to be a lot of recouping still. That's like a good time to get in some good content consumption. So, but if you want to connect with us, like we would love to connect with you, you can head over to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where you can search Borderline Entertainment, like, comment, follow, subscribe, all of that great stuff. Join the community, be a part of the conversation, and help grow the Borderline fam. Before I have a coughing fit, thank you everybody so much for watching. Thank you to those in the chat who participated, and thank you to those on YouTube who are watching. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications, because not only do we have this show Wednesday wrap-up, I know I keep saying it, and promise me we're working on it, but there's so few of us and so even smaller time. But we do have more content that will be coming out.